welcome to Rob's Fix-It Shop. Today in the shop I have this, my daughter's thermostat. She called me over and she couldn't figure out why her thermostat didn't work. And I said I'd come over and take a look at it, and I showed her how to test the different leads, you know, like putting a jumper across or an ammeter across the power to the fan and to the cooling and to the heat. And all that stuff seemed to work, right? But the display would never come on this thermostat. So I thought, well, I'll take it home and I'll see if I can get it running. And it's a very typical embedded system. And so yeah, I thought let's take a look at it and see if we can figure out why it's not working. All right. So I went to the service manual or the user manual, and looks like, and I had to reverse these because this is kind of reversed, but these two are AC power. I think it's got two AC inputs in case you have a different for the heating and cooling, different transformers. And then you've got your heat on, your heat stage 2, and then you've got cool 1, and then cool stage 2. G is your fan, and C is your 24 volt common. So what I did is I got a 24 volt, I hooked up to a 24 volt transformer because luckily my furnace is in the next room. And let's see, voltmeter in here, and so I'm coming in off a little transformer. The one for the doorbell is close by, but it's 20 volts, so that should be sufficient, right? And so let's try, so it's 20 volts AC, and so let's look at this. So we're hooked up to these two here, and then we want our common, which is 3 up. Right. Hook that up. Nothing, right? So then, if so here's a bridge rectifier, right? So if you have AC coming in, it's got to come to your bridge rectifier here and be turned into DC, and then it can kind of go through some of these power circuits. Yeah, I don't see any right here, but I think they're on the other. I think this one here, that's a little coil. So I think what I'm going to do is, so let's disconnect the power. Right, and let's take our continuity checker, and if we go to our common, right, if I go to one leg of this bridge rectifier, the lower one, you see I have continuity there, right? Let me go to that upper one. Okay, so we have power coming into it too, right? So we have power coming into the bridge rectifier. Let's see what's coming out of that. So if we hook our common back up and hook these two guys back up, right? Then let's get our voltmeter. And first we'll check AC, right? So we should have AC coming in, that 19 volts AC coming in. Come on. Why are we not? We just saw continuity. Doesn't make sense to me. Got stuff. Okay, so we have it. Okay, 18 volts there. And we should have it right here. Coming into this bridge. What's going on? I don't get that. Oof. We've got something very hot here. Okay, so we're going to take this off. Yeah, let's get a little alcohol. See if we can see what's getting hot there. You saw it, right? It was almost like something was shorted, right? I felt something really hot. Okay, so let's look again. You got 20 there. Now we've got 20 there, where I was not seeing that before. So let's see what our DC voltage coming out of here is. So we got about 22 volts coming out, and then I'm a little puzzled by this. I know I had something getting hot. Yeah, right there. Yeah, that looks like that's a, I think that's a power chip that's probably driving this guy here. And I bet if we look now, well, we still have voltage coming off there. But what do we have? Okay, let me take a closer look at this, see why it's getting so hot. It looks like, so here's our little guy that's getting warm, right? And that is a, that's one of these guys. It's a DC to DC converter. And what they do is they just pump a frequency through an inductor and a capacitor. And then that, and then over here they kind of have a comparator to see what it's at. And so that as this is a frequency pumps through here, it's able to create a voltage, probably 3.3 volts. I don't know. It's not doing it right now, right? Okay, so here's our DC to DC converter right here. Here's the one that's getting hot, right? And if I go to ground, which I know the ground coming out of the rectifier, right? And I touch this capacitor, on one side, well, on both sides, I'm getting ground. Same with these capacitors here. So it's almost, I think that could be what's maybe getting this thing hot is that we're kind of shorting to ground here, so we're just driving into ground. That could be the problem. Maybe I'll see if one of these capacitors is getting hot. I don't know. It could be the chip is bad, or it could be a capacitor, but let me just see if one of those is getting hot. Alright, so let's hook up our power. And right away we can see that guy's getting hot. And it might be just heating up the rest of the board there. But it does kind of seem like the capacitor there is getting hot as well. So I think what I'll do is I'll try pulling that off and see if then the short goes away. All right, so we got that diode out of there, and so let's check our continuity now. Let's see. This pin right here is ground. And so, check our continuity. Continuity there, not there, not there. And we can see that on the voltmeter too. Let me see if I can get this in here. All right, so here we have 3 megs. And then direct. Yeah, so our short's gone. So it was that diode there. So let's I'm gonna clean it up and then put another diode in there. Okay, so we took the diode off. Now I'm just cleaning those solder pads up. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Little solder paste on there. And we'll get our diode. Okay, we'll put that in place. Okay, so let's see if we can get that on there. Okay. Dang it. Okay, there's one side. Let's see if we can get that other side without knocking it again. Okay, there we go. I have to get a little more Okay, so we got it all cleaned up, and let's try it out. Okay, so let's hook up our power. Let's see if we got any voltage coming out of there. Oops, voltage. Okay, so we got our 25 volts DC coming from there. And coming out of our power circuit. .8 volts. And it's jumping around. Well, I'm a little stumped. I'm wondering if that that DC to DC converter chip burned out. Right now, that circuit is putting out, you know, 0.8 volts. It's not shorted anymore, but you know, we need to find that chip, and I think that'll fix it. I don't know. I don't think 0.8 volts is enough, right? I think it should be probably 3 or 5 volts. I don't know. But yeah, that doesn't seem to be working. So I'm going to see if I can find a chip like that. Just a quick check. They're about $4.50 and nobody has them. So that seems a little pricey, if you must ask me, but if you ask me, but yeah, so I don't know. I guess the adventure continues. All right, so I got my part. I got it off eBay. There it is there. Look how small it is. I think I got 2 of them for $4. There was a lot of them that looked very counterfeit. This one looked pretty good. So, all right, so I'm going to put some foil on the board, and I'll try to get that off. And I'm not a pro at this by any means. This stuff's awfully small. Kind of protect that plastic there. And all right, so, and get my hot air going. Boy, that does not want to come off. Okay, I'm going to put some regular solder on it because it's not moving. Yeah, Finally. Let's see what kind of damage I did. Not too bad. Okay, so now, let's see, a little more flux. And I'll put a little solder on there. Let's see. Okay. Okay, that's in place. And now let's try heating it up. It should be easier now because it's got leaded solder. So I'm just pressing it down. You saw a little ball of solder squeeze out. So that shows that it's got a good connection there. Nice. Okay, and then I'm going to clean up the pins just with the soldering iron. Well, this is going as well as as good as I could ask. Like I say, I mean, I don't do this every day. A little bit too much on there. Okay, that looks good. Well, that looks pretty darn good for me. Let's get that diode back in place. All right, so now I got to clean it off, and then we'll give it a try. All right, so I got it all cleaned up. Let's try hooking it up, see what happens. Good lights. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it came up. Oh, that is super cool. Nice. Yeah, that's cool. Well, let's check what the... Whoops, what did I do? Let's see what the voltage coming out of that buck converter is doing. Let's see. Let me hook up my ground. Yeah, that's cool. One thing I also didn't mention, I forgot, and I didn't have the video for it, but there was a jumper right here. So there's a zero ohm resistor right here, and that there was no continuity across that, and I did jumper that, but I don't know. That's kind of dealing with this power rail here, but I couldn't really tell whether that helped or not, but I did want to mention it too, that you want to go find all these 0 ohm resistors and check them out, because they kind of act like fuses, I think. So let's check what our voltage is here. Yep, 3.3 volts. Now that's super cool. Yeah, so that must be driving the processor. Interesting. Yeah, that's cool. So now I just have to reassemble it, and yeah, I'm really glad I got that working. Well, that's it for Rob's Fix-It Shop, taking care of this Honeywell Home Pro Series thermostat. And you know, I hope you liked it. It just was me figuring out what's going wrong here and repairing it. And you know, I'm not an expert on micro soldering. It's I struggle. My hands are a little bit shaky, but it can be done. You got to be really careful. And but I was really excited to get it back up and running. And so, if you liked the video, please hit like and subscribe. And thanks for watching.